Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Year of the Batman. Today's, well, it's not even a BTAS episode. It's a BTAS inspired movie, Batman and Mister Freeze SubZero. Which I gotta say, like right off the bat, I'm gonna nitpick this. The title is very off. I kid you not. Batman and Mister Freeze share the screen maybe like 3 minutes, and that's being insanely generous. Like they do not interact with each other very much in this movie. Also, the Sub-Zero thing, it 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 alludes to Mister Freeze, so they should have either called it Batman and Mister Freeze or Batman Sub-Zero. The Sub-Zero one probably a little less because there's no like big major plan to freeze the world or freeze the city or anything like that. It's mostly just like Victor trying to save Nora. So it starts off, which I think the beginning of this movie should have been the movie. Uh, because so it starts off, Mr. Freeze, um he's like hunting fish in the ocean with his two domesticated polar bears, which I'm just like, how in the ever loving hell did you domesticate polar bears? Like they are, if I was to go up against any animal in the animal kingdom, polar bears are probably my number two. I don't want to go up against number one being chimpanzees because they're disturbingly smart and like frighteningly violent. But polar bears, my god. So he domesticated two of them, and he's just hunting away with them. And he goes to his little hut, which has Nora in a cryo chamber, and this little uh, Inuit, is that the proper term for Eskimo? Whatever. I think it's Inuit. I'm fairly certain. But anyway, so it's just him, this little boy, and the polar bears and Nora, and I'm like, that could have been a fucking movie right there. Like Mister Freeze escaping Arkham somehow with the suit, because you gotta remember he had his own special cell in Arkham and his own special suit to keep him alive. Uh, so I would love to have seen how he broke out of Arkham, how he got to the North Pole, how he domesticated the polar bears, how he found Nora, how he was able to keep Nora alive. Like, there's so much stuff at the like first 2 minutes of the movie. You're just like, all right, I guess this is happening. Um, so everything's going all fine and dandy. Where at the same time, an American sub is working on. I have genuinely no clue what they could possibly be looking for. They're just out in their sub exploring the ocean, and they surface, and he it completely wrecks Mister Freeze's base. Like Nora's case is cracked and open, and like everybody's thrown all about. Mister Freeze is buried by ice, and he's dug up by the polar bears. I'm just like, what the hell could you guys even be looking for? If they made the case their objective was to locate Mister Freeze, I would have believed that. That maybe there was a line I missed or something. But I don't know. But anyway, so Mister Freeze has to save Nora now because he's on a ticking time clock because her her cryo chamber was busted. Now he has to take care of that. So he goes back to Gotham City to find one of his doctor friends back in the day, Dr. Benson, his name was, to help with trying to find a cure for Nora. Which I'm just like, why didn't you do that like before? Like, we're. Because it just seemed like he was just happy living his life with his popsicle wife, this random kid, and two polar bears. Like, it didn't even seem like he was even attempting to cure her. So I'm just like, dude, Mr. Freeze, what the fuck are you doing? Um, so yeah, now he's on his way to Gotham City, where at this time there is a big, I'll just say a big charity event. Of course, Bruce and Dick are there, and they're waiting for Barbara to show up, which at this time she's being Batgirl, taking down some thugs and whatnot, and so she shows up like to the party. But man, I gotta say, the directors and animators, they knew how to make her look fine. I mean, keeping in mind this is a college student, so yes, her name is Batgirl, but she is well above 18. So just saying. But my God, they made her look so good, and the chemistry between her and Dick is so cute, and I love it so much. And I'm so mad at them because Dick asked her out for like a nice little weekend, and she kind of teases him with it, but you can tell like she's obviously super into him. Um, so she says yes, and you think at the end we're gonna get like a little snippet of like their love or something, like them hanging out, but nothing. Like when the end comes, it comes like there's the credits. Like you're done. So anyway, they're at the party, and you find out that this Dr. Benson character, he owes a crap ton of money because his broker approached him, and he is very much financially screwed. So he's leaving the party early when on his way out of the party, or on his way from the party, he's ambushed by Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze takes him. A little while later, Bruce and Alfred, they have to leave the party as well, because I assume Bruce has to um, patrol more the rest of the night. He left Robin off the hook to dance with Barbara, which was pretty solid play on Bruce's part. When they discover a tipped over car with like a whole bunch of melted water around, because at the time Gotham City's like at 90 degrees or something, so all that ice Mr. Freeze used to capture the guy melted pretty quickly, which I don't think it'd be that quickly, but it's whatever. So Bruce, he looks through the car, finds out it's Mr. Benson, and he tries to find him, but he has no means of really finding him. Where at this time, the Dr. Benson and Mr. Freeze, they're talking, and he's like, "Hey, give it to me straight. What's going on with my wife?" And he's like, "Listen, she needs a transplant pretty soon, or she is going to die." And they found out her blood type is super duper rare, and there's only like maybe 18 matches throughout all of Gotham City that could be it. And then one of the matches, obviously, of course, is Barbara Gordon. So he now is after Barbara Gordon, which he finds his location by calling her dorm, and then her like roommate picks up and tells him where they're at because they pose as like blood donors, or the doctor's for blood donations. So they find out where she's at, and her and Dick are having a good time at this club, having drinks, just having a good time. When Mr. Freeze pops in with his polar bears, and man alive, the fact that like people don't put two and two together that Dick Grayson is Robin is astounding, because this man was putting up a hell of a fight. Like I do not think Batman could have done a better of a job of fighting. Of course, like he wasn't in costume, so he was kind of at a disadvantage, but he's also going up against fucking polar bears, which, dear God. But yeah, he's getting some good licks in, Mr. Freeze, which is so funny because for a movie called Batman and Mr. Freeze, Batman doesn't punch Mr. Freeze not a single time, but you give Robin the licks in, which is fine. I'm not complaining. Anytime I see Robin on screen, I'm very happy. Love that character, but don't name it Batman and Mr. Freeze if you have very little Batman in the movie and then not really much Batman and Mr. Freeze at the same time. You know what I mean? So Barbara gets captured, which, man alive, they're really dumb at this kind of stuff. So Barbara, she wakes up from getting like knocked out, and the doctor immediately tells her to take some pills, and she won't. Mr. Freeze tells her to take them, she won't. They're like, okay, we'll just do it the hard way then. So they leave her there, which are just like, just fill the room with some kind of like nerve gas or anesthetic or something. There should never be and also tie her up, because Barbara, she uses the bed to jump up to get into some vents to escape, which, man, I really wish they would have shot this scene differently. There was a scene where you just see a bed frame, like the bottom of a bed frame, and then like stuff going on in the mattress, like something's going on, and you just hear grunting, like, ugh. ugh, ugh. And then it like pans up and you just see her jumping trying to get to the vent. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's no way that wasn't on purpose. Like, guys, what are we doing here? Why was that necessary for the movie? Like that was an intentional choice right there. Um, so she tries to escape through the vents, but she eventually gets led to where Nora's at, and they're like, "Listen, we just need you for a blood transfusion. That's really it." And then she's still like, "Well, if that were the case, why aren't we like at a hospital?" And he's like, "No, we're not gonna do that. Not with like I don't know something about like his Nora not needing it and whatnot." But my thing is, guys, just tie her up or something. They eventually do when they catch her. Put a single chain on one of her wrists, but I'm just like, guys, literally, like, tie her legs, tie her arms, tie her to the, like, make it, you want to harvest the organs of this poor girl. Why don't you, like, I don't know, it's very aggravating. Oh, also, the first time she does escape, she does find out, that, like, she's on an oil rig, so even if she were to escape, there would be, like, literally nowhere to go. Um, so yeah, that's kind of her state right now. Uh, oh, I will say also, when Barbara got kidnapped, I'm backtracking a little bit. So Robin did get knocked out by a polar bear, and then he gets right back up and then chases Mr. Freeze down on a motorcycle because he took one from a passerby, and he gives the guy the keys to his Corvette. He's like, "Here, take my Corvette." Um, and he is the chase scene is really really good because even the cops are outwitted by him, but like he how do people not see, oh wow, look at Robin go, oh wait, that's not Robin, that's Dick Grayson, he's just doing so good. um but he does, Mr. Freeze does escape him because he uses his freeze gun at like the most inopportune time, which almost gets like Dick killed without his, pretty much without luck, I will say. um yeah, just wanted to highlight Robin putting in the fucking work in this movie. I will say, like the action scenes, man, that boy carried those action scenes. So anyway, back to the plot. So, uh, Robin's now getting checked out of the hospital because when he did crash, he like landed on a tree right before it going over a cliff, and justifiably so, going to a hospital because there's no way it did not shatter some ribs. So Gordon's there and he's like thanking Dick for like at least trying. And when the nurse gives Dick and Bruce some space, they do some research and they're like, all right, let's find out why Barbara would even be needed by Freeze in the first place. So they find out, oh, they're the same blood type. So they go to contact the Benson character, but he's nowhere to be found. But he does have like a list of medical equipment that he needs, and then they check his voice machine, and it's like the broker saying how they need to contact him and whatnot. So they then go to the broker to see if he knows anything of the matter. Where at that time, they couldn't have planned this like any better. At that exact moment when they were interrogating the broker, Benson calls. He's like, "Hey, tell the boys at the bank I need one more week. The money should not be a problem after this point." And then he hangs up. But during the call, they hear a foghorn and then like a ship buoy bell, so they are able to deduce that, oh hey, he's not on the land anywhere. He's on an oil rig 5 miles out. Keep in mind, 5 miles out. That's very important for later. So brain fart there. Also, why the doctor? It's not really that important. Why the doctor needs so much money, and how Freeze is able to pay it. Freeze discovered a gold mine in the Arctic, and then Benson needs money because he invested in a drug that had side effects, which was not FDA approved, and lawsuits, yada yada yada. So Freeze has money. The guy needs money. Bada bing, bada boom. So anyway, now it's getting to the climax. They're about to perform on Barbara, and I swear to God, this is so stupid. Like he is about to inject Barbara with, I believe, some kind of sedative. Before doing so, he undoes her one chain keeping her to the bed. So obviously, Barbara, being the badass that she is, puts up a good fight, and she is like taken down by the two of them, because I mean she was like right at the bed. So they're about to do the surgery on her, but the little boy that Mr. Freeze was with before, he protests because he thought she wasn't going to get hurt, but now he knows, oh shit, she's actually in trouble. So he stops the operation, and then Barbara, she, with her out being restrained, she like knocks into Mr. Freeze and destroys like all the medical equipment. I'm like, Barbara, you like pretty much killed that woman. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but man, of all the places to do what you did, man, girl, that was unfortunate. So she escapes, and Mr. Freeze is telling the Benson guy to go after her. And then he takes out this revolver. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, are you going to kill her, um, or to like paralyze her? Because if that bullet goes through one of those vital organs, you're screwed, buddy. Um, so they both are now fighting on the oil rig, which I swear to God, in movies, I think it is an absolute requirement. If you have a scene in a movie on an oil rig, that oil rig has to explode. Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero, Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, Cars 2, like the list goes on. Oil rigs just are not safe. And so they're Barbara's running away from the guy, and the guy fires a shot, which um, eventually does ignite, because for whatever reason, like all the tanks were filled to the brim with oil, which I don't know fucking why they wouldn't. It like the abandoned oil rig I get, but like why would you not take the remaining bit of oil? I'm not really certain. Maybe Gotham just does not care. For God's sake, they have so many abandoned amusement parks and malls and stores and whatnot. Like, they're just okay with burning money, I guess. So a lot of chaos is going on. Batman and Robin finally show up. The polar bears are there, but they like trick them by like jumping off the edge and having the polar bears follow them, but they were hanging on to the side. Now keep in mind, these polar bears are 5 miles from land. 5 miles. I don't know how far a polar bear can swim, but I'm willing to bet 5 miles is the cutoff point. Call me out on that if I'm wrong, but I'm having my doubts there. So, Mr. Freeze, he's like, he runs into Batman and Robin and then freezes them into a crate. Like it's literally like that. He sees them, freezes them, and then goes on his merry way. That's like one of the only few interactions he has with Batman. Batman, he uses the crane to like bust out open because the controls in like his car were not. I'm explaining this terribly. He was frozen in a crane car, and he used the controls in the crane to have like it swing and hit the window. Anyway, the problem solved fairly quickly, so they're unfrozen. So everything around them's burning, everything around them's exploding, and then Mr. Freeze approaches Benson, and he's like, quick, we gotta get Batgirl to do this operation. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Freeze, I get that you're in love, and love can kind of be blinding, but you are on an actively exploding oil rig. In no scenario are you getting this fucking surgery done. None. Like, you need to get in your head, we need to get my wife out of here right now. Like, that should be your only concern, and then worry about, like, finding another girl compatible sometime later. Also, there was like 18, 17 matches, something like that. Why the fuck would you choose the police commissioner's daughter? Like, I feel like that would be the least picked option in my book. I don't know. That's just me though. But anyway, so Mr. Freeze, he gets trapped under some debris, and the one guy, he leaves him, which, at this point he's like, I'm gonna die, okay? I don't have time for your little surgery or whatnot. I need to get the fuck out of the oil rig, which, good on him for having a brain. So then Barbara, Batman and Robin, they all come to Mr. Freeze's aid and lift the debris up and get him out of there. And he's like, oh, we gotta save that one little boy and Nora. And then Barbara, she leads Batman to it, and then Robin goes to get the Batwing to carry him out, and Mr. Freeze is there at the staircase. But Mr. Freeze has the freeze gun as they're going into the burning building. I'm like, Mr. Freeze, they could have used that way more than you, which they definitely could have, because the whole fucking place is on fire at this point. Um, but so they get Nora, they get the one kid, and they're out of there. They tell Mr. Freeze tells Batman and everybody to go first, and then come back for him later because at this point he has a broken leg. So everybody is back to the Batwing. Batman's like, "All right, I'll be right back and get Mr. Freeze." But Mr. Freeze, it was too late. Batman like just barely missed him. He like was falling off the edge. He like tried to get him with the grappling hook, but some debris hit his hand. The grappling hook and Mr. Freeze fell below. So Batman, he barely gets out of there in the Batwing as well, and then you just see like the whole thing go up in smoke. And at this point, you see the polar bears. They're probably 2-3 football fields away from the oil rig, and you see them swimming, and then you just see Mr. Freeze's hand come up and hold on to one of the polar bear's fur, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, did you take lessons from fucking Aquaman in swimming? How the holiest of hell did you catch up with polar bears? Like, I don't know. So then the movie ends with there's these two guys in, I want to say either Alaska or Canada. It's this really snowy location, and they're watching TV, and they're like, oh, hey, it was a good thing that the Wayne Foundation worked on some cryogenic technology, and there was a donor. Now Nora is free. And it just so happened at that very moment, Mr. Freeze was walking by outside with his polar bears, and those motherfuckers had to have had that TV at 101 volume because not a single window was open or anything. All he just sees is like the picture of the TV and like the person with the picture of Nora or whatever talking. I don't know, maybe there were subtitles, there was no telling. But and then you just see him smile and walk off with the polar bear, and then that's it. We're done. We're out of there. Like that's the end of the movie. You just Mr. Freeze escaped. The one Benson guy died in the explosion. Nora is cured, and then that's the end. We get nothing with Barbara and Dick. Bruce isn't. He's not really in this movie at all, actually. But yeah, that we're done. So for this movie, it really weird. Rating wise, I'm trying to think because like there's some good stuff in it. It's just like I don't know. I still can't get over that title, Batman and Mr. Freeze. But Batman and Mr. Freeze will have like 30 words in between the two of them, and I don't know. I just don't know. Like the chemistry between Batman or not Batman, between Dick and Barbara was so cute, and I wish they did like more with that. But it's whatever. Back to rating wise. Rating wise, I don't know. It was just a weird movie, like a really weird movie. It abruptly ended. The start was it threw so many things at you, and you're like, all right, this is where we're starting, and it's just I don't know. I really don't know how to rank this movie. I can't for the love of me rank it 5, 6, 7. I can't. Like that's out of there. But it's not terrible. You kind of get where he is coming from, but like at the end when the whole fucking oil rig was exploding and he's like, "No, we have to do the surgery." I'm just like, "Freeze. Buddy. Come on now, champ. Come on now." God, it almost feels like two movies were being made, and if that makes any kind of sense, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ratings. Like animation was pretty good, aside from like the computer generated stuff. Here and there were like maybe not computer generated. It's hard to describe the animation they used. It was very sparingly, but it was for more so like the bigger pieces when like showing like the batwing flying or like the engines of it or um like a driving scene in like the big action piece when Robin was after Mr. Freeze, stuff like that. It's really hard to explain, but there were little tidbits of that that just like took me out of it every time I saw it because it just did not look good. Oh god, I keep saying rating wise and then not getting to the rating. I'm sorry. It's just a lot happens and not much happens in this movie at the same time. If that makes any sense. Um, it's very abrupt. I think another 20 minutes would have done this movie justice. It's only like 67 minutes. So, I mean, it's quick. It really feels like maybe like 3 episodes, honestly. But anyway, back to it. Rating wise, God, I'm trying to think. It wasn't horrible. It really wasn't horrible. There was good stuff to it. Oh, I will also say these polar bears, they have got to be either the weakest polar bears or holy shit, we gotta look out for Batman because there's one point where one polar bear is about to attack Robin and Batman lassos the polar bear and like holds it. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, Batman, what steroids, workout method, anything are you on to successfully hold a polar bear? And then Robin, he uses a fire hose to spray a bear that's about to go after Batman. It literally, like, the bear goes flying. I'm like, what fucking pressure is that fire hose to blow away a polar bear? All right. Enough of that. None of that. Rating wise, oh god, I'm trying to think. I'm really struggling with this one. Like, this one, it's just, I'm. Uh, I also got to keep in mind with these like movies based on the TV show, they're very inconsequential. So I was fairly harsh on Mask of the Phantasm for doing that, but it's just its own thing. And I have to judge this one also on being its own thing. You have to do some homework beforehand to really understand it, but then it's its own thing. God bless. I don't know why it's so hard for me to rank this fucking movie. Uh, God, you know what? I'll give this a 3 out of 7. A little below average, honestly. Yeah, I'm happy with that ranking. Eh.